presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day, and I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Here we go. Happy Friday. Duck Insider. Chris Clayton here with you from our Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. And we got a fun show. There's a lot of variety. We're talking hoops as Oregon men's and women's basketball takes to LA this weekend to take on UCLA. A couple of really nice challenges and opportunities for those two programs. We'll talk a little football. We'll talk about the ramifications of this weekend's conference championship games. How does it affect Oregon and their not playoff hopes? We'll know they'll be in the playoff, but whether or not they'll host a home game, we'll talk about kind of what the championships mean across that front. We're also going to hear from Oregon women's golf head coach Derek Radley. Talks to us about what they've been up to in the offseason, and a few weeks ago announced they had the #1 recruiting class in the country. So it's going to be fun to hear his perspective and his excitement, the energy that program is building. And also, how about a little Oregon baseball, right? Why not? Mark Wazakowski talking to the media yesterday about how their fall has gone and what they're up to this offseason. Looking forward to baseball season coming up in about 3 months now. I mean, it's crazy to say, but it's right around the corner. By the way, track and field starts this weekend as well, so we'll talk a little bit about that as they all start in the East Coast tomorrow. Well, let's start with hoops. Oregon men's basketball going to Westwood to play UCLA. The game tomorrow against the Bruins on Peacock at 3 p.m. And, of course, on the Oregon Sports Network, Joey Mack en route to L.A. today. He'll have the pregame coverage starting at 2:30 p.m. Second Big Ten game of the year for the Ducks. Oregon coming off frustrating. Nobody's as frustrated as these Oregon coaches and players. Result, their last time out, an 82-77 loss to USC. But remember, Oregon didn't have Nate Biddle, and that's an undefeated and ranked USC team. The Ducks, the reality is, and hearing from Dana Altman after that game, some missed free throws and some rebounds away from a big home win. Kwame Evans Jr., a lot to like from his performance. He matched a career high with 23 points. The Ducks were 43% from three. When this Oregon team gets healthy again, you put those two formulas together, a third option of Kwame Evans scoring and the Ducks knocking down threes, I think there's reason to be excited as a Duck fan. There's still a very long season and some non-conference games remaining after this one as well. Oregon is 4-4 right now on a 4-game losing streak, but Dana Altman is hopeful that Nate Biddle will be available for the game in UCLA. That was his official statement to the media after the game against USC, that he's hopeful. So how about that? And let's say even if he doesn't play in this game against UCLA, there's good news there that this is not something that they're expecting Biddle to be out for a long period of time. And when Biddle plays, this Oregon team's a lot different, especially defensively. He's the type of guy with his ability to move, a very modern, almost I would say NBA center, with his ability to defend the floor from the perimeter with pick and rolls and the paint. So getting him back would be huge. And the way Kwame Evans is playing lately, that can be a formidable threesome when you add in Jackson Shellstad to the mix, and the way Takai Simpkins is scoring the ball as well. So, look, I know they're in a tough spot right now, but there's plenty of opportunities still ahead. And the blessing of being in the Big Ten for the Ducks is that you have opportunities. Game in, game out are those resume win opportunities for Oregon, and that includes a win at UCLA. The Bruins come into the game with a 6-2 record. They're a typical tough Mick Cronin team. The Bruins are 20th in the country in scoring defense, so not going to be easy to score in this team. But as I kind of to dive into this matchup and look at something that could go in Oregon's favor, look for second chance points. The one area Oregon has been terrific this year, offensive rebounding. They're one of the best in the Big Ten, top 40 in the nation. They can crash the glass against a UCLA team that's not huge. That could go in Oregon's favor. And that, even if Biddle doesn't play. You have Sean Stewart, Devon Pryor. You have Evans, who's a terrific rebounder. That's an area where if the Ducks can assault the offensive glass, get some easy points there, that could really bode well. The Bruins have a lot of balance. They have 6 players averaging 10 points per game, but they haven't had as tough of a schedule as Oregon has had. That's the reality. The Bruins' best win just came with a win on Wednesday at UW, who's 5-3, and it was 82-80. So I say all that to say I think it's going to be a close game, and it's going to be a fun one. And it's going to be on the Oregon Sports Network with Joey Mack at the call at 3 p.m., a 2:30 pregame show. And you can sync up the audio with the Peacock broadcast at 3 p.m. That's for the men. Let's talk Oregon women's basketball. 10-0 start for the Ducks and head coach Kelly Graves, and they have a game that will be televised Sunday noon on Fox Sports 1 as the Ducks have their biggest challenge yet at number 4 UCLA. Oregon has a lot to like from their perspective, so let's start with the Ducks. They're 17. Actually, today they went back up to 16 in the net rankings. So if you're a fan of computer metrics, if you're a nerd like I am, they're good. Thumbs up. They're in Oregon's favor. The Ducks have put up some really impressive efficiency numbers, and they've dominated opponents that they should. And the Ducks are coming off a huge win over Oregon State, 96-73 victory in that one. But this will be fun. I think this is a great test to see where Oregon is at. They're taking on a Bruins team that's 8-1. The only loss this year for UCLA came to number 2 Texas in the Players Era Women's Tournament in Vegas. The strength of schedule has been tough for UCLA as well, so it's not as simple as the fact they're 8-1. They've also beat some very good teams. They beat North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee. And how Kelly Graves described UCLA in this matchup, he said the Bruins have no weakness. He said we'll have to play a great game. So how does Oregon compete in this game? And I'll be on the call for this one, so I've kind of started to dive into some research on this. The Bruins don't have a ton of depth. The players that do play are great players, but they only go about 6 deep. They have a couple of injuries right now. Tamia Gardner, who you might remember from Oregon State, she's out with an injury right now. Sienna Betts, the little sister of their star center Lauren Betts, is out with an injury right now. So they're only going 6 deep. You think about that and the presence of Lauren Betts inside. UCLA has tried to and successfully played slower-paced games this year. They're near the bottom of the Big Ten in terms of tempo. That means they want to use the shot clock. They want to try to get in the post. And for Oregon, when you think about the lack of depth, of the fact that UCLA goes 6 deep, maybe they want to run. If the Ducks can force turnovers, they can make this an up-and-down game. Maybe get the Bruins in foul trouble. You never know. This is the beauty of college basketball. That's a good formula for Oregon, that they've been so disruptive this year defensively. Saw it in the second half against Auburn. Saw it in the first half against Oregon State. When the Ducks are at their best, they're running up and down the floor. They're hitting threes. Oregon can compete with just about anyone. So I think everybody's excited. I think Katie Fiso's excited as well. She's been unstoppable lately, the Ducks point guard. I don't think the Bruins have quite faced a point guard like Fiso with her ability to get downhill and dominate in the pick and roll. She's coming off a stellar game, 23 points and 14 assists. Those 14 assists for Fiso against the Beavs, the second most in a game by any Duck ever. Sabrina Ionescu had 17 assists in a game. So, you know, that's pretty special if you're in that type of company. And they asked Katie about that, and she said, I'm just out there hooping. She's not thinking about those numbers, but the numbers she's putting up are spectacular. And she's starting to hit the 3-ball as well. One more stat about Katie Fiso. Then I'll move on and talk a little football. She has 5 points and assist double-doubles this year. That leads the country. The next closest only has 2. There's not a lot of point guards in college basketball putting up point assist double-doubles, and she's done it 5 times, more than double anybody else. And finally, Ahisa Tute did not play last time out. The Ducks' probably best rebounder. She could be playing. She was almost healthy enough to play against Oregon State on Wednesday. She dressed down, rolled her ankle against Auburn, so that could help the Ducks as well. Finally, and you know, this has been a big point of conversation, of course, around Eugene. Let's talk a little football here. Here's, first of all, what we do know for Oregon football. They will be in the College Football Playoff. So we can pause there. That's a guarantee. That's exciting. What we don't know, we won't know for certain if Oregon will host a game. If the 12-team bracket was to start today, the Ducks would host a home game, and fans would get an opportunity to watch a playoff game at Autzen Stadium, which is exciting, and there's no doubt about it, that would be a lot of fun. But still an opportunity that Oregon gets that first-round bye like they had last year and push into the quarterfinals. If Oregon does play a first-round game, and if you're watching here on Duck Insider, you see the bracket on your screen, that first round is you'd play either Friday, December 19, or Saturday, December 20. So if you'd like to go to that game, circle it on your calendar. It's going to be one of those 2 days. However, if it's a quarterfinal, that being either the Cotton, Orange, Rose, or Sugar Bowls, it'll be New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. So we don't know a lot right now. All we know is Oregon's going to be in the bracket. So here's what would be interesting watching this slate of conference championship games this weekend. First of all, as a college football fan, it's going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of great games. 8 conference championships. I think the 2 you need to circle as Duck fans, the Big 12 championship and the SEC championship. Saturday at 9 a.m., number 4 Texas Tech and BYU. And then Saturday at 1 p.m., number 9 Alabama and number 3 Georgia. If either or both of those teams lose, especially handedly, there's a great chance the Ducks in the final CFP rankings vault into the top 4. So what does that mean? That means no home game for Oregon, and they'll go to the quarterfinals. I'm not saying that's bad, but that's kind of what's at stake as Oregon sits at home and prepares and watches. You know, they don't have a Big Ten championship game to play, so they're just kind of waiting to see how these other teams play out, and the Ducks are still in a fantastic position through it all to maybe get a first-round bye. So let's say the favorites win. Texas Tech wins and Georgia wins, and Oregon stays at number 5. Again, that'll be December 19 or December 20 against the 12 seed in the bracket. So that will be a group of 5 champion. That will almost certainly be someone like Tulane, James Madison, or North Texas. And then you could throw in some more teams in the mix if there's absolute chaos and there's upsets in the ACC and American Conference and Sun Belt. And, so there's a lot to be determined. I'm curious what everyone's rooting for, because I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here. I think you talk to one person, you say, oh, I hope Oregon gets the 5 seed because I want them to have a home game, or I want them to have a quote-unquote tune-up game before the quarterfinals where it gets even more difficult, because a lot of Duck fans are saying, hey, last year Oregon got the bye and went to the quarterfinals and it didn't turn out in their favor. So maybe it's better that Oregon plays a first-round game. Or maybe you're a Duck fan and you're saying, I hope Oregon gets a bye because they need that extra week of rest. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know what I'm rooting for. I hope Oregon wins no matter where they play, but I would be curious if you could leave a comment if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. Let us know, what are you rooting for? Do you want the Ducks to have a bye? Do you want them to play at home? No right answer, but there's some great football ahead, and the path to a championship is still there for Oregon, whatever it is. They're in the bracket. Let's celebrate that. Let's hit our first break. When we come back, we're going to hear from Oregon golf head coach Derek Radley next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, Jan from Toyota with a holiday message. Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon is on.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota-thon ends January 5th. See your participating dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hi, Jan from Toyota with a holiday message. Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon is on.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota-thon ends January 5th. See your participating dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
You wanted to be cool, which led you to smoking, which led to a pack a day. Then you met that special someone, which led to starting a life with them, which led to wanting to live longer, which led to quitting. Then you heard you may be at risk for lung cancer, which led you to getting a low-dose CT scan. If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Back in Duck Insider, live from our from our Country Financial studio. Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. It's Friday, so I hope everybody has a great weekend ahead. Yes, it's a little bit rainy, but plenty of opportunities to sit inside and watch some sports and look forward to what lies ahead for Oregon basketball as they play UCLA. And now, we were lucky enough to have Oregon women's golf head coach Derek Radley in studio. They've had a big offseason. If you didn't hear, the top-ranked recruiting class in the country, and they're still busy at work getting ready for their season ahead. Looking forward to the spring as Derek Radley sat down with Joey Mack this week.
Time for a little fall golf review. The number 3 team in the country, head coach Derek Radley here in the Country Financial studio. Coach, hey, it's always fun to catch up. Especially fun to catch up to talk about a few wins for your program in the fall, huh? Tell us how the fall went, Coach.
Thanks for having me, bud. Fall season was something that we are all very proud of. You know, our sport is, really unique in that we play 4 tournaments in the fall season and then hopefully 8 in the spring. So
right.
it's a lot of golf. But it's fantastic because we can see where we stack up against the best teams in the country. Came out with a win in our last tournament at East Lake Cup, which was so special. And so really excited to take some time off and, review some things that we can even get better at and come back stronger in the spring season.
Put that in context for fans, though. The East Lake Cup is a unique opportunity and quite the feat to get a victory there.
It is. So very honored that, we've been fortunate to receive an invitation to compete in East Lake Cup the last 3 out of 4 years. To receive your invitation to East Lake Cup, you have to make it to the Final Four of the national championship.
Right.
And so East Lake Cup is at East Lake where they play the PGA Tour Championship in Atlanta. It's always the last season or the last tournament of the fall season. And so we were very honored to receive an invite back. You play stroke play. There's obviously the 4 teams from the Final Four. You play 1 round of stroke play, and then that seeds you for match play. And then we advanced to play our first match against Florida State, which we won, and then had a rematch against Northwestern in the finals. And Northwestern, Northwestern, won the whole thing last year, national championship. Head coach Emily, she's fantastic, and they were the ones that knocked us out last year in the Final Four. And so was excited to get another opportunity at them, and thankfully came out with the win.
Well, and that's the competition level that you breed, but also how about the fact that you get to go through that stroke play and match play format? I mean, that's valuable.
Yeah, we can't practice that feeling at home, right? So to do it, it was on Golf Channel. They do a fantastic job of televising, especially for our younger freshmen that really haven't had that feeling with cameras in their face. Was great experience for hopefully another run this upcoming spring season.
Talking with Derek Radley, and now breaking down the roster as it stands, because you don't put together the number 3 team in the nation without a pretty successful group of student athletes. I know you're pretty proud of this group, aren't you?
Really proud of this group. It's crazy now. Our superstar, Kiara Romero, number 1 in the world. How about that?
Number 1 in the world. Let's say that again. The number 1 player in the world wearing the O. That's nice.
3rd year junior.
3rd year.
And she's really grown into an unbelievable leadership role. I always ask each one of our Ducks in the beginning of the fall, what's one thing that you can bring to this team this fall? And she said, I want to bring leadership, and I want to bring a sense of confidence about our program, and I also want you to ask me questions if we get in those intense moments that you need advice. And so for her to step into that leadership role now is something I'm really proud of, and it's been so fun to watch her grow over the 3 seasons.
You mentioned the leadership, though. Like, how valuable is that for her, Coach? I mean, someone who in an individual sport, but at the collegiate level, it's unique that you have this team aspect. Like, you don't talk about leadership necessarily of a team in golf very often. I guess when you get to like the Ryder Cup and things like that, right? But that's an an unusual factor at this level of their career.
Yeah, golf is so unique. We don't pass the ball to each other, right? So they're just out there on their own. However, if they can feel connected, it's priceless. And to have a great family dynamic, a culture where you feel confident in your teammates' abilities to have your back, is what it's all about. And so they feel that with not only is she the number 1 player in the world, but she's really, like I said, stepped into that leadership role where she's willing to put her arms around the other student athletes and help them.
Well, and how about competition level too? I mean, everyone's looking at the number 1 player in the world and going, okay, well, that's what I got to beat, right? I mean, I imagine practices are probably pretty darn competitive.
It's great, right? So we always say iron sharpens iron. So if we can do that at home, we play a lot of competitions against each other. It's the advantage of college golf, I think, where you can be in that team setting and just grab one of your teammates to go play a fun challenge, and it's been fun to watch and something I'm very, very proud of.
Does a driver sharpen a driver and a putter sharpen a putter?
Yeah, I think we could say that.
Iron
a wedge
sharpens
a wedge. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. I'm just here for all the puns, Coach.
Yeah.
I mean, iron sharpens iron. Okay, we know that one. But
that's good.
The golf analogy here can continue.
That's good.
I want to zoom out a little bit too. I mean, we've talked about this before, how international and different backgrounds your roster is. Coach, how much fun is that for you and going through that again with now some new additions to the team?
Yeah, golf, our sport has really becomes just worldwide. And so, to have the ability to recruit these young ladies from all over the world is really special. And to bring them here to our environment in Eugene is something I am so proud of. They know they're going to be safe. They know they're going to be taken care of. They know that this is their American family. And so a lot of these young ladies are looking for a place really to call home in the U.S., and this is their home. And so we do a lot of things, obviously on the golf course to work hard, but that family feeling is the most important thing, and something that, I think that they all feel a part of when they do finally get here on campus.
Well, that's cool. That's pretty cool. Tell us a little bit more about your roster, Coach. Just break it down for fans.
Yeah, so we have 2 new freshmen. Really exciting. So Shyla Singh is from Australia. Shyla's lefty, so we added a lefty to the team. Nate Kruger, our SID, he loves lefties.
Does it look better left-handed like it does in baseball?
It's pretty sweet. Yeah. So she's extremely talented. Works very, very hard. She's on the national team in Australia, so she comes from a lot of great coaches and somebody that people that I've become really close with through this recruiting process, and we have a lot of FaceTime calls to help her be her best. So Shyla's Kiara's really taken her under her wing, which has been pretty awesome to see.
That's that leadership.
And then Sophie Han is a superstar from Hong Kong, and so Sophie's top 100 in the world. She hits it the farthest on our team. How about that?
Really?
Little freshman came in. Sophie's about 5'2", I think, and hits it far.
Well, in those driver distances, I mean, you've got some pretty great elite athletes on your team already.
It's
okay. No pressure there.
So Sophie came in, and she shot 19 under in the first qualifier.
Yeah, not bad, huh?
And everyone's like, "Whoa," and they're like, "Something's wrong with my driver, coach." It's not. No, Sophie's she's crushing it. So Sophie, something really exciting. Sophie actually just passed her driver's test yesterday. So helped train Sophie to get her driver's test. So excited to her safely to be on the road in the springtime.
Okay, I can't let you go past this one. A driver who can drive now.
How about that?
How about that?
Yes.
Boy. Yeah, you have to. Yeah. I could make. This is what happens when you and I get together. Just the amount of dad jokes and puns can just go off the rails as we continue with Derek Radley. I mentioned that competition level in practice, Coach. I mean, you've clearly fostered this competitive environment with your team, and I want to zoom out a little on that. Now that you've gone through yet another fall with success, that recruiting strategy. You know, what do you look for when you go out and recruit, Coach? Like, how do you find these athletes that continue to do these things, like a freshman that leads the team in driving distance?
You know, I think first and foremost, I'm looking for good people. And, you know, we have such a great culture where everybody is willing to lend a helping hand. And so that's first and foremost. It's so fun to get to know these recruits in the recruiting process when we finally are able to connect with them and FaceTime and then really spend time with them in person. But yeah, it's from a golfing standpoint, world rankings are important.
Yeah.
Thankful to have, you know, world number 1 on our team. You can do it here in Eugene, Oregon. We have the facilities, we have the resources to help you get to where you want to be. And a lot of these young ladies want to play professional golf. And so, you know, seeing them, there's so many big tournaments now on the junior level that they can compete at to where when they come in college, it's like, yeah, I've been doing this for, you know, since I was 12 years old.
Isn't that amazing, though?
And so they keep getting better, younger and younger. It's incredible. A lot of myself and colleagues talk about that. And so when they come to campus, you know, they're pretty sharp, and there's not a whole lot we need to work on. It's typically more the life stuff that, you know, learning how to cook without mom, or learning how to do laundry, and learning how to, you know, pass your driver's test. And then obviously, you know, really they do such a fantastic job in the classroom, which I'm really proud of. So, yeah, it's recruiting process is my favorite piece to this. And somebody once told me that nobody ever won the Kentucky Derby with a donkey, right? So, you know, to have superstars come here and just pick up and know that this is a golfing school. And we're a championship program, and we're going to compete for championships, something I'm really proud of.
Have there been some consistencies once you get them to campus, too? Like, is there – because everyone always talks about it at Oregon, among all sports, right? Like, just come to campus, and it feels different. Like, now that you've been through a few cycles of this, what is that like for you as a coach?
Yeah, it's, you know, I'm so proud to walk around this place and show it off, right? I mean, it's from – you know, the CAS to the nap room to, you know, where we train and work out, and now to the Jake that is our home. It's incredible, and so I know that, you know, these ladies are excited to get here, and when they do, it's really special for them to just feel welcome, to feel connected, and they know that they can call myself or our assistant coach, who's amazing, Coach Chrissy Carmen, at any time, and we're American mom and dad.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you actually led me to my very next question. I mean, the culture starts at the top with you, but I know certainly you take a lot of pride in the staff that you have that you work with.
I do, and Chrissy's amazing. This is her 3rd season now. You know, her family is incredible. Her husband, Mitchell, son Conrad, who's a little stick, by the way. This dude
already.
This dude loves coming to the Jake and practicing, and he played in his first golf tournament.
Okay.
Actually, just last 2 weekends ago. And then she's got the cutest little baby girl, Winnie, that comes and hangs. So, yeah, you know, a lot of our student athletes, you know, potentially want to have a family one day. So that's what we're all about. And, you know, my amazing wife, Sarah, you know, and our 3 kiddos with Palmer Ryder and Zaley, they're around all the time. And it really is a family environment. And I'm thankful we have such a small team that it really, you know, everybody can connect with one another.
Okay, important question now, and this is going to be the hardest hitting one that I ask you. Do I start my son with, like, the plastic golf set?
Yes.
So we can work on some of the chips rather than just the putting and the short game?
Yes.
Okay.
And don't take advice from Dad. Come call Coach D.
Yeah, exactly. That's 100% true. We knew that already. We've discussed this baseball swing here that's not recoverable.
Yes, they're different.
They're very different.
Yeah, my boys are into baseball. They love it.
See, and that's my oldest son is already he can hit off the tee and he's hitting line drives, and I'm like, right, but son, you're good at mini golf.
Yeah.
He's got a good mini golf swing, Coach. So now I need to adapt to.
Yeah. You know, and Tiger started from the green and worked backwards, right? So that's great.
Okay.
Start small and then move back to the driver.
With the short game.
And then come hit up Sophie and how to hit it far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Some of the keys ahead, Coach. What are some of your keys for your roster in spring?
You know, there's some great tournaments that our Ducks are going to be able to play in over this winter break. all of them are going back home to their home country, so I'm excited for that, to get some family time to reset, see their own personal coaches when they're back home, and then come back refreshed. We're going to kick off our season at the beginning of February in LA. We have a fantastic spring schedule ahead, a little bit of really all over the country, and so excited to play in those different types of weather. Golf being an outdoor sport is important.
Different grass,
wind direction, all that kind of things to continue our experiences so that, we're still a pretty young team.
Sure.
And so, just experience, confidence, and something we always preach is one shot at a time. And so that's important, is staying in the moment. And so excited to see that ahead, excited to see what we can do. And from a roster standpoint, like I said, our 2 freshmen were great. They got a lot of experience this fall.
That's what the fall's for.
The fall, that's right. We prove that we can do it, but we got to keep working hard for the spring season.
Yeah. Man, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to chat, think about the competition level that happens to be the number 3 team in the country. I'm just going to say that again. Like, the world number 1 as an individual, the number 3 team in the country. I mean, you're competing for a national championship year in, year out, Coach, and that's hard to do.
Yeah, I'm really proud. Final Four the last 3 out of 4 years has been really special, and so hopefully we can get back in that moment again this season, lean on the ones that have been there before, and just really, really proud of the program and excited, especially for the recruits that are coming in next year as well.
Right.
And hopefully future classes to come through.
Well, because
keep it going.
Because you brought it up. Recruiting's gone well, right, Coach?
We can talk about it now.
Yeah.
They're officially signed. Yes,
Yeah.
we for the first time ever in our program's history, we have the number 1 recruiting class in 2026. Yes.
Number 1 recruiting class in the country for 2026.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Excited. 2 young ladies that are coming in. One from Thailand, Prim Praknikorn, superstar. She's top 50 in the world right now. And then Selena Yeo, who currently lives in Canada. Is just a stud, and so those 2 are going to come in, and hopefully pick up right where we are, and we'll welcome them into our family and take care of them so they're happy and ready to go.
And even more competition at practice. I'm telling you, if you go to ECC, it's going to be like, what?
Yeah.
You go to Elmo Valley, it's going to be like, what?
Yeah.
You see these teams practicing, and
they're out there all the time.
It's as good as it gets.
It's great.
He's Derek Radley, Oregon Women's Golf head coach. Hey, thanks
Appreciate
for being
you,
here.
buddy.
Appreciate it.
Go Ducks.
How about that? Final Four, 3 of the last 4 years. Only on the rise, the number 1 recruiting class coming in. When we come back, we hear from Oregon baseball head coach Mark Wasikowski next on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark, and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember. Back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my heart.
We're back on Duck Insider. Happy to have you along with us here. We talked a lot about basketball. It's a big weekend for the men's and women's teams as they take on UCLA. Big weekend to kind of watch other games for football as they decide where the Ducks are going to play on that front. And we heard from Oregon women's golf head coach Derek Radley. And now let's turn our attention to baseball, right? They're busy and hard at work. It never stops here at the University of Oregon. Baseball is still grinding and getting ready for their season that's just a few months away. And head coach Mark Wazakowski spoke to the media yesterday.
Was how much, if any, contact did Tennessee have with you? And obviously as their process played out, it went in that direction. But what was that like for those few days?
It's always interesting whenever jobs open up, and how much contact Tennessee had. I didn't have any direct contact with Tennessee. I was really happy for Josh Elander, who's he's an assistant coach there who got the job as a longtime assistant coach. I always pull for guys to get jobs like that, and Tony going and being a manager in the major leagues, who knows? Maybe that sets a precedent for college coaches to do it. I think probably Pat Murphy might have helped a little bit of that too, paved that road with the Brewers, going from the Arizona State deal to being in a major league for a while. So I don't know, maybe that becomes a trend in time. Time will tell with that. But, happy for Josh and happy for Tony. Got an opportunity he want to take.
Waz, can you just take me through this year's team and your offseason, how you tried to attack it, especially losing so many starters to the professional ranks, how you tried to attack this offseason from a freshman recruitment, a transfer portal, into building this roster and this offense?
Well, you try to get the best players you can, regardless of whether they're portal kids or junior college, high school kids, and we got some good ones. We're replacing a lot. We're replacing 50% of our wins on the mound. And we're replacing, I think it's probably close to 2/3 of the home run total that we lost from a year ago. And so there were really good players here that played really well a year ago. And so we need to replace those guys for sure. I think we've looked at that as best we could. We were really aggressive in trying to go after everybody out there. Unfortunately, in our game today, it's not just about giving a kid a full scholarship and having them here on a good visit. There's a lot more that goes into recruiting these days, specifically donor related, NIL related, rev share related, and those are really competitive recruiting adventures for high school and for portal guys these days, more so than ever before.
A lot to sort through this time of year with the roster, obviously, but it's a new staff doing that. Can you just kind of break down what your staff looks like, what the strengths are of some of the new faces?
Yeah, I think, with Matt Floor now coming in and taking over the pitching, he's going to be assisted by, Dan Straley as a director of pitching. He's in a non-coaching position, but he was a guy that played a long professional career, long major league career, who's actually attending University of Oregon as a student now, which is great. And so his wisdom will be added to our staff. Travis Buck replaces Sean Harling as our operations director. Travis is a really talented player. When I recruited him, from Eastern Washington, he went to Arizona State, played for Pat Murphy. He's our director of ops now. He just left the job. I think the latest job he had was at Loyola Marymount as their hitting coach. And he's in a non-coaching capacity, but again, his wisdom is really handy to have around. Tim Cisnera is he's moved into like a player development role, which is where Brett Thomas was. Brett Thomas is now moved into an assistant coach and a coaching role. So the guys who have coaching responsibilities, myself, Brett Thomas, Jack Martyr is the hitting coach and recruiting coordinator. Brett will assist him with the hitters, also work with outfielders. I take over the infielders for Marcus Hinkle, who's left, and to spend more time with his family and pursue a different opportunity that he has. And we're going to miss Marcus. We love him. And then, like I said, Matt Floor taking over the pitching side of it, which is a huge win for us. A lot of people have been trying to get Matt for a lot of years out of the University of San Diego. And he's just been a tremendous developer of talent. And quite candidly, he didn't get the best talent at San Diego. We got good talent, but he didn't get the very, very top-end talent. And he was developing as well, if not better than anybody on the West Coast with the pitchers that he's been able to put out here recently. So those are all big deals. Gavin Grant remains in a non-coaching position. He's our camp coordinator. He's on my staff. Love to keep him around as long as I can, being a Duck and a really good baseball mind as well.
Getting back to the personnel management side of things and the business side of things, was how critical has the formation of Diamond Ducks been, and what it's able to offer you, and how close are you guys to being able to offer 34 and at least get to that level in a sport that now, when one conference is at a very different economic area for personnel acquisition, how important is it having an operation to at least get you close to, if not to the full 34, to keep you competitive?
Without it, we don't have a chance.
Just in terms of new pitching coach,
Yeah.
you lose 50% of your wins on the mound.
Yeah.
Having experienced pitchers that have twirled the ball for you, Ian Umlaut, Colin Clark, on the hill, how does having those guys as a bridge from last year's rotation into this year's rotation help the new guys into the system, and even maybe Coach Flo in terms of the acclimation into this year's pitching staff?
Well, I don't know. Every year's different. Having those guys back is really good because they're good pitchers, and you want as many good pitchers as you can down there in that stable. So having those guys back is great, and there's some real leaders that you mentioned, Ian Umlaut, Colin Clark. I mean, those guys are real leaders. They pitched meaningful innings for us and did really well. And so, yeah, I think they help pave a path. Ultimately, you're looking to just to bolster it as much as you can, So for us to add some of the pieces we were able to add, I think are really good. We didn't hit on all the pieces we were after, that's for sure. I mean, and the number of guys that we were after to try to bolster the staff, it's really interesting now with the portal how that goes. It's a lot, but nevertheless, there's whenever somebody that's an all-conference guy out there, whenever we lose a guy to the draft or something like that, and we have an opening, we're going to be as aggressive as we possibly can be. And whether we get them or not, it's not going to be from a lack of effort. We're going to do everything we possibly can within our means to go get a guy. And as our situation continues to improve with everything that we're able to offer, hopefully we'll be able to land more and more of the absolute best guys that are out there and available.
Seemed like there was a lot of buzz about your program coming in the wake of the draft, and some of the guys who were draft eligible, some of the incoming freshmen who are, sounds like, had a chance that way, but are going to make it to campus. So just what's your thoughts on kind of that group as they've arrived here and started working out?
It's a couple of really good ones. And I don't know, I'm probably going to miss a couple, but Braden Jackson was a guy that was, he's the USA team gold medal winning starting catcher and MVP of that group when he was in high school. He's a really talented catcher. He's gotten some hype for being one of the best guys in the country to show up to a college campus, and he looks like it. He's a big kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's super talented. He's going to be able to hit the ball over the fence. He's like a 6'5" kid. He had to turn down a lot of money to get here. Angel Aya, same kind of deal, outfielder, really physical type player. I think fans are going to really enjoy watching that kid play. He's a guy that has a tremendous outfield arm. He's an above-average runner, and he's got a swing that's a really nice swing, and he's going to be able to really develop that frame into being a dual threat kind of guy, a guy that can run a little bit, even though he's a long strider. I think he's going to be able to really run some, and he's going to be able to hit for power, especially as he gets older in our program. A guy like Owen Morgan doesn't get a bunch of the hype coming out of high school, although he had a tremendous high school career, especially his senior year. But he's come in and he's really kind of opened some eyes with some things that he's been able to do. And then there's some new players that we've had, a pitcher named Cal Scolari that really has a big arm. I think fans are going to really like what they see in him. Miles Costola, he came in from Gonzaga. You'd think he was their Saturday guy up there, left-handed guy that we had to win some battles to be able to get him to campus, but he's kind of a lower slot, kind of a sidearm lefty with a really good arm, amongst other guys. There's some good ones, Gabe Miranda to be able to come in. I mean, for us to lose Jacob Walsh, to the draft or being a senior, whatever, but no longer in our program. Big hole there. Keeping Dom Hellman, keeping Drew Smith, having Maddox Maloney and Ryan Cooney return, keeping Jack Brooks, even though he's not really a household name yet. He's a super skilled player that hasn't been a mainstay in the lineup largely because of injury so far. But those kind of guys are really handy players to be able to have, especially in even a guy like Burke Mabius that caught the lion's share of the innings for us last year. To have him return into catching position is really important.
It's fun to hear from head coach Mark Wazakowski about the returners, all the talent they have there, the incoming talented freshman class. Just a few months away from Oregon baseball. We still have a lot of content with Coach Waz when we come back. Part 2 on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
If you build a relationship, then it becomes easier. If you build trust, it becomes easier. As a parent, you want what's best for your child. To give them the love that a child needs is probably the best you can do for a teenager.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You say you never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, know it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now, so good to see you.
We're back on Duck Insider on a Friday, brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We're live in the Country Financial studio. Let's go to part 2. Coach Waz, Oregon baseball head coach, talking to the media yesterday about how things have gone in the fall, and their season's just a few months away now.
Kind of touched on it there, but defensively in the field, just your development you saw from fall ball and kind of going into the next coming season.
Yeah, we're still going, right? We're still going, but I mean, probably the biggest things that I saw, you know, you're losing Carter Garrotti, he wasn't a super unbelievable, awesome offensive kind of a player, but boy, was he defensively, right? He was spectacular defensively. And so having a hole there to fill that. Ryan Cooney actually has been playing a lot of shortstop head-to-head against Maddox. It's a heck of a battle. Both of them are really good. You know, Maddox is getting a lot of hype, preseason hype, and he deserves it. He's really good. You know, so those two kids have separated themselves as the leaders on our infield. Kid named Gabe Miranda, who's a transfer kid who's come in here to assist with the loss of Jacob from the draft. He's done really good when he's been on the field. He's been an exceptional player. He can hit and he can defend really well. And so, you know, those guys on the infield, I think are really important to us. Braden Jackson's been able to move around at third base as well, not only just a catcher. He looks like he's got a chance over there amongst other options. But yeah, I mean, there's been some development that's occurred clearly out there, but there's some nice pieces running around that have been fun to work with.
Can you speak a bit more about Coach Martyr and what he means to your coaching staff?
Jack's a really good coach. You know, when I first came to Oregon, I think an eyebrow was raised when they said, "Who are you going to bring with you on your staff if you get the job?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to hire Jack Martyr." And they said, "Whoa, you know, we are at Oregon. You can get anybody you want pretty much." And I said, "Yeah, the guy wants Jack Martyr." And he's only, I guess, made that statement come to fruition. You know, I had a lot of belief in him because I got a chance to be around him and work with him. I watched him play all the way through high school and recruited him. And so I knew him really well, and I knew the kind of worker he'd be and how smart he was. And he's had a huge impact on the program, right? I mean, he's a really good hitting coach. He's a really good recruiter. You know, he's getting a lot of publicity as he deserves, and he's really good at it. And so we're thrilled to have Jack on my staff. You know, he's been tough to keep. You know, a lot of the guys that are on my staff, they've had opportunities to leave, and like we tell recruits, you know, I mean, when we do well, then there's going to be a lot of opportunities for basically the entire coaching staff to go other places. and there has been. And yet we still, by and large, are all still here intact. And you know what, Jack, Brett Thomas, Gavin Grant, those kind of guys. I mean, it's tremendous to have Tim Cisnera. These guys, some of them are non-coaching responsibility guys, at least in the short term. Hopefully the NCAA allows more guys on the field to coach, which there are rumors that may happen. These guys are just really good baseball people, and they've got their hearts tied into the University of Oregon because they played here or worked here or whatever. I mean, there's real allegiance here. And so it's not just a job for a lot of us. It's more than that. And we really want to finish something that we've started here, and we've made some commitments to some people that are largely responsible for bringing the program back about staying in this program until we can accomplish some goals, and we haven't accomplished all the goals we set out to yet.
Not sure how many holes you have left to fill still on the schedule wise, but what is the impact to non-conference scheduling philosophy now that you're in the league, where in order to put yourself in position, you hope to host, potentially even host a super when it comes time, until and unless other parts of the league take things a little bit more seriously, the net impact is going to be awfully difficult. So how do you go about changing non-conference scheduling where you still want to have some home games, but if you're going to put yourself in the best position, you probably have to go on the road or neutral site a lot?
Yeah, you've asked some interesting questions there. I'll try to unpack it best I can. We've talked about that long and hard. I mean, coming out of the Pac-10, the Pac-12, you did it one way, and it was a similar roadmap because really in our season, it's a 15-week season. The 15th week is your conference tournament, which leaves 14 left. And then of the 14 weeks, you got 10 that are in league, so 5 home, 5 road. And that's kind of a lottery, especially in an off-balance league like the Big Ten. And so you don't know who you're going to get on a given year, but you're going to play 10 conference weekends, so 30 total games there. And then your other 4 weekends, you've got 4 weekends that you can pick more or less who you're playing, right? So 3 of those weekends traditionally are going to start at the very front end of your schedule, and then there's going to be a bye weekend somewhere in the middle of that. The bye weekend in the middle is really kind of a survive situation. You're trying to schedule. A year ago, we scheduled Oregon State for that, and it's something that it worked out really well for us. We played really well against them, and we won those games, and so that helped us tremendously when it came to postseason resumes and stuff like that to be able to host. But mid-season buys are tough because mid-season buys, there are not a lot of conferences that have mid-season buys. So you're getting the best RPI team historically on a 5 to 10 year RPI average. You're trying to find that best team to be able to bring in to where you can play them or go on the road. So like this year in 26, we're going to Santa Barbara, who historically has had a very strong RPI on the West Coast along with us and Oregon State and UCLA. So we're going there on the road this year. The first 3 weeks of the year, historically, what we've tried to do is had, last year was an anomaly. First, basically run through the Big Ten, and there was reasons why we stayed at home for all 3 of those weekends. Historically, what we'd like to do is play in a national tournament one of those 3 weekends, and we will this year. We'll play in the Vegas tournament versus Irvine, Arizona, and Vanderbilt in week 3. The other 2 weekends, ideally, you'd like to play one of those weekends at home and one on the road. And so traditionally that would be one of the road games would be against the home and home series that we have versus Santa Barbara. And then you play the best, the best scenario you could find when it comes to RPI for a non-conference home weekend. So you've got basically a neutral site, a road site, and a home site. So of those 4 weekends that you're not playing in the league, ideally we're going to be playing 2 of those at PK Park. And one in a neutral site and one on the road. Dan.
There you go. The strategy behind the schedule. They don't just throw teams on there. There's thought behind all of it. When we come back, we'll wrap it up. Duck Insider on a Friday on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve.
From working at our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Let's take a moment to breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Remain focused on what you're doing. If safe to do so, exhale slowly, leaning to one side. Inhale back to center. If safe to do so, exhale slowly to the opposite side. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ed Council.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider. Happy Friday. Great weekend ahead. Really exciting on the basketball front in particular, with the men's and women's teams both going to Westwood to take on UCLA. Tomorrow, the men, 3 p.m., 2:30 p.m. pregame show on the Oregon Sports Network with Joey Mack on the call. That game will be televised on Peacock as well. Women's basketball, biggest challenge of the season yet, the 10-0 Ducks with Kelly Graves taking on number 4 UCLA at noon, 11:30 a.m., I should say, pregame show on the Oregon Sports Network. Tip-off at noon. That game will be broadcast on Fox Sports 1 as well. Track and field is making their debut. They're in the Sharon Collier Danville season opener all day tomorrow in Boston, Massachusetts. So a big weekend ahead, and also a little bit of viewing opportunities. The Ducks can sit back and find out where they're going to play in the playoff with the conference championships taking place. I'm Chris Clayton. Have a great weekend. This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like, it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids